Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. What is it that truly ruins a man or a woman? Is it the world outside, or is it the choices we make, blinded by fleeting desires? We live in a time where the thrill of the chase has become a way of life, fast, reckless, and dangerously seductive. Some pursue dreams that never align with their purpose, like slow horses struggling to win a race they were never built for. Others fall into the allure of temporary pleasures, chasing fast women or fast relationships that leave nothing but wreckage behind. But here's the truth. No one tells you the problem isn't the horse, the track, or the woman. The problem lies in the way you gamble your time, your energy, and your heart on things that were never meant to carry you to the finish line. So today, let's strip back the illusion. Let's talk about breaking free, finding focus, and reclaiming your life before it spirals out of control. Stay with me. You're about to discover a truth that could change everything. Life is full of promises, many of them alluring and deceptive. At the heart of human suffering lies a simple truth. We often chase illusions, believing they will bring us happiness, fulfillment, or purpose. But the price of these illusions can be devastating, and it's often paid in our peace, dignity, and time, things far more valuable than we realize. Take relationships, for instance. How often do we pursue someone not because they align with our soul, but because they represent something we think we need? Beauty, charm, status, or even the idea of saving someone, these are illusions dressed as answers. When we attach our happiness to fleeting qualities, we create a cycle of desire and disappointment. The pursuit consumes us, and the outcome rarely satisfies. Chasing such illusions can leave us emptier than we were before, burdened with regret and a sense of loss. The same is true for ambition. Goals are necessary, yes, but there's a difference between purposeful striving and blind pursuit. Some people chase wealth not for security or freedom, but for the image it projects. Others pursue careers or lifestyles that they think will make them enough in the eyes of society. But illusions don't nourish the soul. They're like a mirage, appearing real until you reach them, only to vanish and leave you thirsting for more. Here's the deeper danger illusions distract us from reality. They pull us away from the beauty of what we already have, the people who truly care for us, and the opportunities right in front of us. They keep us running in circles, exhausting our energy on what doesn't serve us. And all the while, life quietly slips by. Breaking free from the cycle of illusion starts with one profound shift awareness. You must recognize when you're chasing something that isn't real or isn't aligned with your true self. It requires asking hard questions. Why do I want this? Is this pursuit rooted in love and truth, or is it a desperate attempt to fill a void? When you see the illusion for what it is, you take back your power. You stop running after what's fleeting and start building a life based on what lasts. Meaningful relationships, a sense of purpose, and peace within yourself, these are the things worth pursuing because they don't fade with time. This doesn't mean abandoning all desires. It means being intentional about what you chase and why. It means choosing paths that honor your values and contribute to your growth. And above all, it means letting go of the idea that external things can complete you. Remember, illusions may glitter, but they have no substance. The more you chase them, the further you drift from the truth of who you are. So slow down, reflect, and choose pursuits that enrich your life, not ones that drain it. Because the price of chasing illusions is far too high to pay with your soul. Sometimes the greatest obstacle in your life is the person staring back at you in the mirror. It's not the world outside that traps you, it's the habits, thoughts, and choices you cling to. When it comes to love and relationships, self-sabotage often operates in silence, disguising itself as comfort or necessity. But if you're willing to look closely, every heartbreak, every disappointment, and every misstep can teach you how to break free and rise stronger than before. Self-sabotage often begins with the stories we tell ourselves. You might believe deep down that you're not worthy of love, so you settle for less than you deserve. Or maybe you've convinced yourself that staying in a toxic relationship is better than being alone. These beliefs might feel like truths, but they're nothing more than scripts written by fear, pain, or past failures. The first step to freedom is rewriting those scripts. Ask yourself, who am I becoming by holding on to these stories? Loss and heartbreak are painful, but they're also mirrors. They reveal where we've given away our power. Have you stayed silent when you should have spoken up? Have you given more than you've received, hoping love would fill the void inside you? These moments aren't failures, they're lessons. They're opportunities to reclaim your voice, your boundaries, and your self-worth. The hardest part of breaking free from self-sabotage is recognizing that sometimes we cling to the very things that hurt us. Why? Because they feel familiar. Chaos might feel like love if that's what you've always known. But familiarity isn't the same as happiness. Letting go of destructive patterns requires courage to sit with discomfort, face your fears, and trust that you are capable of building something better. Another trap of self-sabotage is the tendency to blame others or circumstances. If only they had loved me better, or if only I had more time, money, or support. While external factors play a role, they don't define your ability to grow and heal. Taking responsibility for your own life means looking inward, not outward. It's about asking, what can I do today to honor myself? How can I create the love and life I want without waiting for someone else to do it for me? Breaking free isn't easy, but it's simple, small, consistent actions. It's learning to say no when something doesn't align with your values. It's giving yourself permission to rest and heal instead of rushing back into the same old patterns. It's forgiving yourself for past mistakes and understanding that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's approval. Love and loss are teachers, and their lessons are clear. You don't have to stay stuck. The moment you choose to stop sabotaging yourself, you begin to reclaim your power. And as you let go of what no longer serves you, you'll discover the strength, peace, and love that were waiting for you all along within yourself. Life often tempts us with quick fixes, fast thrills that promise immediate pleasure, excitement, or escape. Whether it's a fleeting relationship, a reckless decision, or chasing superficial goals, these fast thrills have a magnetic pull. They feel good in the moment, igniting a rush that convinces us we've found what we've been looking for. But behind the adrenaline lies a truth most ignore. The consequences of those quick highs are slow, heavy, and often life-altering. Think about relationships built on impulse rather than intention. When you dive headfirst into something or someone without understanding their true nature, you risk more than just heartbreak. The allure of passion without foundation can leave you lost, questioning your worth, and carrying the emotional weight of choices made in haste. Fast relationships are often built on illusions. They promise love but rarely deliver the depth or stability we truly crave. But this isn't just about relationships. The same principle applies to life decisions. Have you ever chosen the easy path because it seemed quicker, only to find yourself stuck in the aftermath? Chasing fast thrills often means ignoring the long-term cost. Whether it's indulging in temporary pleasures, spending recklessly, or prioritizing shortcuts over hard work, these decisions accumulate. And what once seemed exciting can turn into regret, debt, or a sense of emptiness. The reason fast thrills are so dangerous is that they rarely fulfill us. They feed our desire for instant gratification while starving the deeper parts of our soul. True joy, fulfillment, and growth don't come from chasing the next rush. They come from building something meaningful, even when the process is slow. But slow doesn't sell. Society glorifies speed, encouraging us to chase more, consume more, and never stop to reflect. To avoid the trap of fast thrills, you must cultivate awareness. Ask yourself, why am I chasing this? What am I hoping to find? Often we pursue fast thrills as a way to escape discomfort or fill a void. But running away from pain doesn't heal it, it prolongs it. True healing requires slowing down, sitting with your emotions, and understanding what you truly need. Another powerful tool is patience. In a world that glorifies quick results, patience is an act of rebellion. It's choosing to build relationships, careers, and dreams with care, knowing that what you create with intention will last far longer than anything achieved in haste. Patience allows you to appreciate the journey rather than rushing to the destination. Lastly, remember that life isn't a race, it's a balance. There's nothing wrong with enjoying thrills or excitement, but they should complement your foundation, not replace it. Fast thrills may be tempting, but they're fleeting. The consequences, however, linger often shaping your life in ways you didn't anticipate. So, slow down. Evaluate your choices. Choose paths that align with your values and contribute to your growth. Because while fast thrills may bring fleeting highs, it's the steady, intentional steps that lead to a life of true fulfillment. In a world driven by instant gratification, the idea of waiting, working, and persisting for something greater has become almost foreign. We've been conditioned to seek shortcuts, celebrate quick wins, and crave the thrill of immediate success. But true fulfillment, the kind that lasts and enriches your life, demands something far deeper: patience and discipline. Without these, even the greatest opportunities can slip through our fingers. Patience is more than just waiting. It's the ability to endure discomfort, uncertainty, and delay without losing sight of your purpose. When you lack patience, you're tempted to settle for less than you deserve or rush into things that aren't ready. Think about planting a seed. No amount of rushing will make it grow faster. You must water it, nurture it, and allow time to do its work. Fulfillment is no different. It's a process that unfolds gradually, rewarding those who are willing to trust the journey. Discipline, on the other hand, is the consistent commitment to your goals and values, even when the initial excitement fades. It's waking up every day and choosing to work on what matters, despite distractions or setbacks. While patience teaches you to wait for the right time, discipline ensures you're prepared when that time comes. Without discipline, patience becomes idle waiting, and without patience, discipline becomes a fruitless grind. Together, they create a powerful balance that leads to success and fulfillment. Consider relationships. A meaningful connection isn't built overnight. It requires time to understand each other, overcome challenges, and grow together. Rushing into relationships or forcing outcomes often leads to disappointment, because meaningful bonds require both patience and discipline. You must have the patience to let love unfold naturally and the discipline to nurture it through effort, understanding, and communication. The same principle applies to personal growth. Everyone wants to be the best version of themselves, but few are willing to endure the slow and sometimes painful process it requires. Patience is what keeps you grounded when progress feels invisible. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when you doubt yourself. Together, they ensure that you don't give up before the breakthrough arrives. The world will always tempt you with shortcuts. It will tell you that you can achieve success, happiness, or love with minimal effort and maximum speed. But the truth is, anything worth having requires investment of time, energy, and focus. Patience teaches you to value the process, while discipline ensures you don't stray from the path. True fulfillment isn't just about achieving your goals, it's about who you become along the way. It's in the character you build while waiting, the strength you develop through consistency, and the wisdom you gain from every step of the journey. So slow down, embrace the process, trust that the seeds you plant today will grow into something extraordinary tomorrow, because the things that truly fulfill us, the ones that make life rich and meaningful, are never found in haste, but in the steady, intentional pursuit of what matters most. In life, we often find ourselves chasing people, relationships we believe will complete us, save us, or validate our worth. But the question we rarely stop to ask is this: who am I running after, and why? Understanding the answer to this question could be the difference between building a life of fulfillment or exhausting yourself in pursuit of something that was never meant for you. Too often we chase relationships based on illusions rather than truth. We run after people who seem perfect on the surface but lack the depth to truly connect with us. Perhaps it's their beauty, charm, or status that draws us in, blinding us to the reality of who they are. Or maybe we see their potential, hoping that with enough love they'll become the person we imagine them to be. But chasing potential or perfection is a game you'll never win, because real connection isn't found in illusions, it's built on authenticity. Sometimes the people we run after represent something we think we lack. If you feel incomplete, you might seek someone who seems to have it all together. If you've been hurt, you might chase someone who feels safe but isn't aligned with your values or goals. The truth is, when you pursue relationships to fill a void, you give away your power. You make someone else responsible for your happiness, which is a burden no one else can carry. But there's another danger in running after people: the risk of losing yourself. When you're so focused on chasing someone else, you often neglect your own needs, dreams, and identity. You bend and break to keep the relationship alive, sacrificing parts of yourself in the process. Over time, you might not even recognize the person you've become, all because you were too busy running after someone else instead of standing firmly in your own truth. So how do you stop the chase? It begins with self-awareness. Reflect on the people you've pursued in the past and ask yourself, were they truly right for me, or was I running after an idea of who I wanted them to be? Often the answer lies in unmet needs within yourself. Before you can build a healthy relationship, you must first cultivate a strong relationship with yourself. Next, shift your focus from chasing to attracting. When you know your worth and live in alignment with your values, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. Instead of running after relationships, invest in becoming the kind of person who inspires connection and respect. When you stand still, confident in who you are, the right relationships find you. Lastly, remember that love isn't about running, it's about walking side by side. True connection doesn't require you to chase, it invites you to grow together. So stop running after people who don't see your worth. Stand tall, be still, and trust that the relationships meant for you will meet you where you are. We live in a world that thrives on speed, fast love, quick fixes, and fleeting connections. Everywhere you look, the message is the same: move quickly, or you'll be left behind. But in the frenzy of chasing relationships, passions, and desires, we often lose something far more valuable: our sense of self. What if the secret to finding true love, fulfillment, and peace isn't in moving faster, but in standing still? Stillness isn't just the absence of movement, it's the presence of clarity. In relationships, lust and attraction often create chaos, clouding our ability to see things for what they truly are. How many times have you rushed into something because it felt right in the moment, only to realize later that you were chasing an illusion? The power of stillness lies in giving yourself the space to evaluate what you want and need, free from the noise of urgency and impulsive emotions. When you practice stillness, you learn to separate what feels good from what is good. Lust, after all, is a powerful force. It can ignite passion, but often lacks the foundation to sustain a connection. Love, on the other hand, grows slowly, taking root in mutual respect, trust, and shared values. By slowing down and embracing stillness, you allow yourself to distinguish between the fleeting and the lasting, the shallow and the deep. Stillness also protects you from settling. In the chaos of modern relationships, it's easy to mistake attention for affection or excitement for compatibility. But when you take a step back, you begin to see people for who they truly are, not just who you want them to be. This clarity helps you avoid relationships that drain your energy, diminish your self-worth, or distract you from your purpose. Instead of rushing to fill the void, you learn to wait for the connections that truly align with your heart and soul. The world often equates stillness with passivity, but nothing could be further from the truth. Stillness is an active state of being. It's choosing to pause and reflect when everything around you is urging you to act. It's the courage to sit with your emotions, no matter how uncomfortable, and listen to what they're telling you. It's the strength to trust that you don't need to chase love or validation, because the right relationships will come to you in their own time. In the chaos of love and lust, stillness becomes your sanctuary. It's where you reconnect with your intuition, rediscover your values, and rebuild your sense of worth. Instead of being swept away by the currents of fleeting desires, you become the anchor, grounded, steady, and unshakable. So slow down, take a breath, let the noise fade, and listen to the quiet wisdom within you. In the stillness, you'll find the clarity to choose relationships that honor your heart, the strength to let go of what isn't meant for you, and the courage to stand firm in your truth. Because love isn't found in chaos, it's discovered in the calm. In a world that glorifies instant gratification, it's easy to fall for fast pleasures. A fleeting romance, a reckless decision, or a momentary escape might seem harmless at first, but the consequences often linger far longer than the thrill. Fast pleasures promise quick satisfaction, but they rarely deliver lasting happiness. Instead, they often leave you in a cycle of regret, pain, and slow healing, a price far greater than the momentary high they offered. Consider the allure of fast relationships. At first, they can feel exhilarating, like a spark that ignites a fire in your soul. The chemistry is intense, the connection feels magical, and it seems as though you found exactly what you've been searching for. But without a foundation of trust, understanding, and shared values, that fire burns out as quickly as it began. What's left is the cold aftermath, a sense of emptiness, and the pain of wondering what went wrong. The hidden cost of these choices lies in the toll they take on your emotional and mental health. When you rush into relationships or decisions without thought or intention, you expose yourself to cycles of disappointment. Healing from these experiences isn't quick or easy. The scars they leave can shape how you view yourself and your ability to trust or connect with others in the future. But fast pleasures aren't just limited to relationships. Reckless choices in other areas of life, whether it's chasing material things, indulging unhealthy habits, or taking shortcuts to success, carry the same risks. They might offer a momentary escape or a brief sense of accomplishment, but they rarely align with your long-term values and goals. Instead, they create problems that take far longer to fix than the time it took to create them. True healing begins with awareness. It's recognizing the patterns in your life where you sacrificed long-term peace for short-term pleasure. It's asking yourself, what am I really seeking? Often the need for fast pleasures comes from a deeper void, loneliness, insecurity, or fear. When you identify the root cause, you can begin to address it in healthier ways rather than numbing it with quick fixes. The antidote to fast pleasures is intentionality. Instead of rushing into relationships or decisions, take the time to reflect on what truly matters to you. Build connections based on depth and understanding rather than fleeting attraction. Make choices that align with your values, even if they require patience and effort. It's also important to forgive yourself for past mistakes. Healing takes time, and growth isn't linear. Every experience, no matter how painful, teaches you something valuable. The key is to learn the lesson and use it to make better choices moving forward. Fast pleasures might seem tempting, but their cost is rarely worth it. By choosing patience, self-awareness, and intentionality, you can break free from the cycle of recklessness and begin to create a life that's built on substance, not illusion. Because while healing may be slow, it leads to a peace and fulfillment that no quick fix could ever provide. In the realm of relationships, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that someone else holds the key to your happiness. We are often taught that love and connection are the ultimate sources of fulfillment, but placing the responsibility of your happiness on another person is a dangerous and unreliable foundation. True happiness can only come from within, and it's crucial to understand why your joy should never be dependent on anyone else. When you give someone else the power to define your happiness, you're setting yourself up for inevitable disappointment. People change and relationships evolve, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. If you tie your emotional well-being to another person's actions, moods, or presence, you risk losing yourself whenever they falter, leave, or fail to meet your expectations. Your emotional state becomes tethered to factors outside your control, leaving you vulnerable to heartache. The problem with depending on others for happiness is that it places an unrealistic burden on them. No one, no matter how loving or well-intentioned, can fully satisfy all of your emotional needs. When you expect someone to be your source of happiness, you're asking them to take on a role that isn't fair or sustainable. It creates a dynamic where the relationship becomes a transaction rather than a partnership. The other person might feel pressured or overwhelmed by this expectation, and ultimately both of you end up feeling unfulfilled. Moreover, when you rely on others for happiness, you are giving up your personal power. True contentment comes from within. It's cultivated through self-love, self-awareness, and the pursuit of your own passions and goals. When you can find joy in your own company, when you learn to enjoy your own life and appreciate your worth independent of others, you become emotionally resilient. You stop depending on external circumstances to determine your emotional state. The key to a fulfilling relationship isn't finding someone who will make you happy, but rather finding someone who complements the happiness and peace you've already cultivated within yourself. When two people are both secure in their own happiness, they bring that energy into the relationship, making it stronger and more harmonious. Happiness in a relationship should be an enhancement, not the foundation. Building your own happiness requires investing in yourself. Take the time to understand what brings you joy, whether it's a career that excites you, hobbies that ignite your creativity, or spending time with friends and family who lift you up. Create a life that feels rich and meaningful, not because you're seeking validation or approval from others, but because you're living authentically. It's also essential to recognize that emotional well-being is an ongoing process. You won't always be happy, and that's okay. Life is full of ups and downs, but learning to navigate those fluctuations without relying on someone else to fix you is key to maintaining a sense of inner peace. So, take a step back and ask yourself, am I placing my happiness in someone else's hands? If so, it's time to take that power back. Happiness isn't something that can be gifted to you by another person. It's something that you cultivate through self-awareness, self-love, and independence. When you learn to depend on yourself for happiness, you become free. And only then can you truly experience love, because love, in its purest form, is not about seeking completion in another person. It's about sharing the fullness of who you already are. In a world that often glorifies selflessness and kindness, it's important to recognize that not everyone deserves your generosity. While kindness is a powerful force that can transform lives and relationships, it can also be exploited if you're not careful. The truth is, kindness, when given without discernment, can deplete your energy and leave you feeling drained, hurt, or unappreciated. Setting boundaries is not only an act of self-preservation, it's a necessary step in protecting your emotional well-being and maintaining your sense of self. There's a misconception that kindness means giving without limit, that to be a truly good person, you must always be there for others, no matter the cost to yourself. But kindness without boundaries can quickly become a form of self-sacrifice that erodes your sense of worth and leaves you vulnerable to those who might take advantage of your goodwill. Not everyone you encounter will treat your kindness with the respect it deserves. Some may use it to manipulate you, others may ignore it, and some may simply take it for granted. The power of boundaries lies in recognizing that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are valuable and you have the right to protect them. Boundaries help you discern when and how to offer your kindness, ensuring that it's given to those who genuinely appreciate and reciprocate it. By setting limits, you create a space where your kindness is not depleted by people who don't honor it, and where you can focus your energy on relationships that nourish you. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're being cruel, selfish, or unkind. It means you're protecting yourself from the harm that can come from overgiving. It's a form of self-respect that ensures you can continue to be a positive force in the world without burning out or feeling resentful. Kindness becomes a choice, not a requirement. You choose to be kind to those who show respect for your time, your emotions, and your needs, and you learn to walk away from those who do not. Boundaries also teach others how to treat you. When you establish clear limits, you communicate that you value yourself and that your kindness should not be taken for granted. This teaches people to respect your space and time and allows them to engage with you in a way that is balanced and mutually respectful. If you consistently allow others to cross your boundaries without consequence, you set the expectation that it's okay to disrespect you. But when you hold firm to your limits, you foster relationships that are based on mutual respect, understanding, and reciprocity. It's also important to recognize that boundaries help you to maintain your own sense of purpose and focus. By protecting your energy, you can prioritize what truly matters to you, your goals, your passions, and your own growth. When you give freely to others without consideration for your own needs, you risk losing sight of your own aspirations and sense of direction. Setting boundaries helps you stay aligned with your values and continue to build the life you desire. So, the next time you feel compelled to give or be kind, ask yourself, is this person deserving of my kindness? Will this action serve me, or will it deplete me? It's okay to say no, to step back, and to protect your energy. Not everyone deserves your kindness, and that's not only okay, it's essential for your well-being. By setting boundaries, you can preserve your sense of self, nurture your own happiness, and offer your kindness in ways that are authentic and meaningful.